Hello, everyone, and welcome to your first lesson in biology. In this video, I am going to be talking about the human body systems and starting with homeostasis. As you can see here, homeostasis relates to balance or maintaining equilibrium. The definition essentially talks about survival, and that all organisms must be able to maintain a stable internal condition in a changing environment. Now, when we talk about changes, this relates to a stimulus, right? This is a change. A common example is temperature. So, on days when it's hot outside, the human body starts sweating, right? You see little droplets on your skin. You feel a little dehydrated, you go for your Gatorade or your bottle of water. So that is a change because of the hot weather. Likewise, if you feel cold, the body starts shivering. Maybe you decide to put on a sweater or wrap up under a blanket with a hot cup of coffee or tea so that you are able again to adjust to the changing conditions. So this is what the body does to maintain homeostasis or that internal balance so that our organs can go on to do the things they need to do. Now, in order to maintain control internally, homeostasis requires three components. And those three components are a receptor, an integrating center, and an effector. Now, taking a look through the nervous and endocrine systems, where the nervous system is looking at how the human body reacts to certain stimuli and responses, right? These would be related in the case of different hormones from the endocrine system also working together, sending signals and synapses and neurotransmitters and the like to different parts of the body, as well to engage in responses, right? So you may have heard of things such as the fight or the flight reactions that people experience. As well, with homeostasis, there are certain positive and negative feedback loops. So many of us in different points of our lives have experienced fevers, right? There's a lot of talk about fever right now as being one of those symptoms of the coronavirus. So a fever is an example of a negative feedback loop, right? So the body all of a sudden reaches a certain temperature, right, above 100 degrees Celsius, and we know that our body is fighting some sort of virus or illness, right, with the help of the immune system. So this is a negative feedback loop. In contrast, contractions or pregnancy contractions generally, for the most part, when they come at the appropriate time, are an example of a positive feedback loop, right? So this is letting the mother know or the female know that the baby is on the way. So this is a good thing that's happening so that way the birth can be performed. Now, in the case of our course, we are going to be examining three main human body systems in our grade 11 course. That would be the digestive, circulatory, and respiratory systems, otherwise known as the gastrointestinal, the cardiovascular, and our respiratory systems, as you know, are respirology. But there are many other systems that work together to maintain this balance, right? So that we can live a healthy life, right? These include the skeletal and muscular system. We also have the immune system, and I just mentioned the endocrine and nervous systems working together. We also have something called the lymphatic system, the integumentary system, which includes our skin and hair, reproductive cycles, as well as urinary and excretory system. But the main idea here is to understand that each of our body systems are interconnected and dependent on each other. So this is a brief overview of homeostasis. and how certain body systems work together in order for all humans, all organisms to survive. So it doesn't matter if you're a bee or a beetle, if you are a snake or a reptile, if you're a human being, cat or dog, or a bear. Everybody has these three components that relate to homeostasis, right? We are always maintaining temperature or going through a positive versus a negative feedback loop in order to maintain balance, right? Even plants too have adaptive features depending on the climate, depending on the temperature, right? And these certain behaviors to maintain homeostasis can either be innate or they can be learned, right? Remember, an innate behavior is something that is genetically programmed in an organism, right? So they didn't need to learn that. But something that is a learned behavior develops over time, right? So think about some examples that you might have learned in your own life, right? Think about bears, for example. When it gets cold outside, some animals like bears, they enter an inactive state called hibernation, right? So that's when their heart rate, their breathing rate slow down, and their internal temperatures drop during the winter time, right? They go underground, they sleep in caves, or they burrow somewhere, and they enter a deep sleep for a long period. And then when temperatures warm up outside, the bears wake up and they come back out for the spring, right? So this is an adaptation to maintain homeostasis, right? Not everybody does this. I know right now, with the current situation, everyone kind of feels like they're in a hibernation mode as well. Unless if you are an essential worker and you are going outside. But in any case, I hope this little overview helps you to get into some of the course material as you will encounter in activities 1 through 9. In my next video, I will be getting a little bit more into these three systems so you have an idea what they are all about. See you then.